lying when I say that despite everything I'm going to declare in this video, this is still the best arcade racing game on the market. This opens the door to a whole new can of worms with how poorly made the Crew 2 and modern Need for Speed titles are, but that is a topic for another day. The highlight of this game is easily the graphical fidelity. It is absolutely awe-inspiringly gorgeous. The mix of phenomenal lighting, amazing textures, and Xbox 360 car models really sell the story here. It looks almost photorealistic at times. Hell, even better than real life. This is why instead of going outside, I spend my time looking at the individual pricks on the cacti. The driving physics are sublime for an arcade racer, providing just about enough grip to let you take a corner unrealistically fast enough, yet not enough grip to make everything other than harsh braking zones flat out, at least in lower end cars. Obviously not flawless, but rather enjoyable nonetheless. Its biggest flaw being the tire model's tendency to make you drift uncontrollably when just over the peak of grip. You don't need me to tell you that this isn't how a tire reacts, but I guess it was implemented because drifting is cool or something. I don't know, I don't get it. The car list is phenomenal as well. With few duplicate cars, the choice you have in multiplayer races is incredibly large. Your options once tuned are even greater, as lower class cars tend to perform very well competitively. Mexico is a dream to drive through and take in. The devs did a majestic job transferring it into the world of Horizon. The roads are relaxing to cruise on and perfect for speeding, albeit there is just too much sand on the map, making it very one-tone. What went wrong? To answer this question, we'll have to look at the community and of course the general flaws of the game itself to see what is rotten in the state of Mexico. The original idea for this video was to compare it to Horizon 3, but I gave up on it as it was just too long of a script. This does not mean I will not review Horizon 3 one day, it just means that day is not today. With that out of the way, as someone who's played and watched every Forza Horizon game, I'm able to delve into how this franchise evolved, and the TLDR is this. The first game focused on being a racing game, with a story and proper progression. It was made with the idea that you get a hold of better cars as the game goes on, which is typical game design. Getting cars wasn't difficult, but they weren't exactly being given away either. Horizon 3 and onwards just gave you so many cars via wheel spins that you essentially didn't need to buy a single one to finish the game. Nothing wrong with this approach, however it does shorten the amount of time a player will put into the game as the grind is non-existent. A double-edged sword, as some players will love this and some will hate it. This became extremely prevalent in Horizon 4 and onwards, as with the introduction of super wheel spins, the amount of cars you could get via wheel spins essentially tripled. At launch, unbeatable difficulty was unbeatable. Opponents had unlimited lower end grip, which was incredibly funny to look at, but meant you couldn't play the game properly if you were in the upper echelons on pace. Another thing to note is an issue that, unlike the previous one, hasn't been fixed. I'm talking about the lone AI running away in first place, making it impossible to catch at times. This has been a recurring theme for the past 5 games, so I don't see it changing anytime soon. Hola amigo! We really are...
Cabra Alonso.
Yes, amigo. No one actually talks like this, and it is really annoying. I don't see why this was done whatsoever. It just ruins the immersion. The characters are typical for Forza, just empty vessels spewing out voice lines and serving purely to prove the non-existent plot forwards. Take for example Rami, aka Ramiro. This man does absolutely nothing in the game other than annoy the player with one-liners. Truly the character of all time. The last non-English speaking country we've had in a Forza game was in Horizon 2, but from my memory there was no Italian or French spoken like this. It just baffles me as to why this was done in the first place. Forza has never been known as a franchise with a particularly mature audience, and this is one of its biggest downfalls. The quality of multiplayer racing significantly drops when there are people who will push you off at every turn and then spam your Xbox DM saying you suck. One major issue with the community is its need to blast all criticism against the game with poorly made insults. By doing this, the developers get the feedback that the game is perfect in every way and keeps going this path of no return. Now, for the multiplayer, it is a right mess in this game. There is no ranked, anti-griefing systems are somehow worse than in Gran Turismo, penalizing mistakes and letting exploits run free. The worst part about the exclusion of ranked game modes is that they were a thing in Horizon 4, just oddly removed from this title. The quality of racing is comically poor, but what more can be expected from an arcade racer? You just have to get used to it. Apart from the mediocre enough updates, it is laughable at best. You just get time-limited cars that will inflate in price on the auction house roughly tenfold once it ends and that's it. Some new clothing items and horns are truly the highlight of waiting for a month to get a new content drop that features 4 new cars, half of which were already in Forza Horizon 4 but taken out at launch. I really want to see Playground just prove me wrong by pushing out the best possible content updates from now until the end of this game's life cycle, but I just don't see that happening. It turns out that after churning out the Rally DLC, Playground started releasing really good updates. Great to see. This script was written right after the release of the Rally DLC for reference. Whilst on the topic of content, it is just boring copy-paste events that fill up Horizon's roster. Go to point B, jump X meters, get Y skill. Where is the innovation? The story missions are all just repeats of the same 5 events, excluding races which have issues of their own. Why not feature overtake events, proper time attacks, and use the event life feature you've created for this game in particular? Screw it. Go bowling like in the motorsport games. I don't get why the events are so limited in their execution and overall premise. What would be the key component of an open world racer? None other than the open world itself, the playground you're put on. Look, the map itself, brilliant, extremely well put together. However, what's on the map is dead. It just feels abandoned. Nothing goes on, cars are few and far between. The map is completely stationary. Even the original crew had a better open world experience that is a 9-year-old game. Horizon 1 was fine for its time. 2 and 3 were just beautiful to the point where pure eye candy alone is enough to make you burst with life. 4 had seasons. But what does 5 have? I can't quite pinpoint it exactly, but it feels clinical, devoid of life and care. Max to graphics, the floor is water. 1 colored foliage, we don't have those. Playing for over an hour, memory leak. Driving, memory leak. Using your car off-road, the camera is spelunking. On a hard drive, goodbye world. Suspension bugging out, cars not loading in, infinite time to join a lobby, and at the end it doesn't even work. Joining a friend's convoy meant you didn't see each other whatsoever, and much more. Too much to say here, in fact. Some have been fixed, most haven't. I guess it wouldn't be the Forza Tech engine without game-breaking bugs now, would it? Well, innovation is dead in Horizon. 5 feels like 4 on a different map, a cardinal sin of gaming. Innovation is the key to progress, and without it, we are doomed to tread the same path over and over again. Who said this? I do not know. What I do know is that it perfectly encapsulates the current state of the Forza franchise as a whole. Well, with this video out of the way, off I go to my 1-month slumber, in which I will still play this game and complain about it, just like every other member of this community. Overall, get it on sale or something, I really don't know.